Welcome to Isaac Pryor Art. This is my channel. I'm watching my cat try to destroy things. Today we're going to do May's art trading cards for Patreon. I have an example of one right here. So I need to draw 5 of them. I have 5 subscribers that are on this tier. So I'm going to draw 5 of them. I'll probably draw some more, but I might split it up into a couple different videos so that we can have enough content. She's going to mess everything up. Right, Amaro? Yeah, I know. Okay, so for each one of these, I usually... Oh, you're going to just mess it up, kitty. Just scooch it just a little bit. Okay. For each one of these, I don't ever really have a process or how I do things. I just grab one of these little cards and I either choose a color or I choose a thought, maybe a thought, sometimes, and I just go for it. This one I didn't really have anything. I just wanted to have this shade of black and then just go from there. So this was my example. So we're going to take this away and we're going to pop this one here. And I think for this first one I'm going to do blue. So a lot of times I use these for these sketch cards. They're the Pigma Micron Sakura fine tip pens. So here's one shade of blue, here's another. Yeah. These are 0.05 millimeter. No, they're 0.5 millimeter. So they're about a half millimeter. I'll get it up here so you can see against my hand. Itty bitty tip. It's not the smallest tip out there, but it's fairly small. This one's a nice shade of blue. This is the darker one. This is the darker one. This is the lighter one. And you can see on the butts how they do things. Hi, sweetie. I know. If I pick you up, you're just going to be annoying. I'm going to talk to her a lot. It's just how it goes, because she's blind and she needs affirmation. So, this one, we're just going to just start. I don't think I want it this way, though. I want it this way. Maybe zoom in just a little bit, yeah? There, how's that? Yeah, I like that. Okay. So I think I want just a quick little shape like that. Let's start with the dark blue and have light blue going off of it. I hear you. I'm trying to think of, while I'm doing this, I'm thinking of trying to balance it, because right now it's very heavy on this side, on the left side, and I always like to have some sort of balance. So now that I have that, this is an awfully sheer edge, so I want to just add just a little bit of softness to it. It's also fun to notice the hand movements as I do this, because they go from finger movements to whole hand movements. So from my wrist all the way to my elbow, I'll be going with this line for a longer one. If I can do it by hand, normally I just move my fingers. So for this long one, I'm dragging with my whole arm all the way down the piece of paper. I haven't run into anybody saying that this doesn't take talent. I'm not saying that nobody or anybody could do this, because I'm sure anybody could do this, but there is technique to it. Oh, I should totally turn that off. And pause. And I don't like this little sliver of white space right here. This is never something that I like, having really close to a dark like that. It gives a weird feeling to me. So I'm just going to pull that in just a little bit so it feels more complete. Okay. Yep. So now I have this lovely, like, twisting shape to it. I hear you. So now I've switched. I've got my light blue, as you can see by the butt. Again, dark blue, light blue. So I think I want to draw out this shape over here and have not really a peak, but kind of a peak. So I think I'm gonna focus on this lump. Ah, are you in here now? Hi, baby. Yeah? Oh, yeah? I hear you. Yeah. She's here to mess things up again. Well, now you gotta say hi. Come here. Oh. This is the one making all the noise. She's awfully pointy. She needs just a little bit of attention. So we're going to say hi. Yeah, because she's a good girl. Yeah. Oh, the purrs. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Is that enough? Do you want down on my lap? Come on. Come on. You can let go. Okay. I'm going to put you on the ground, though, because you're going to mess everything up, okay? There you go. Go on, baby. Okay. This is how every drawing session goes. I draw for 5 minutes, and then I have to pay attention to somebody. And then I draw for... Dang it! I like having these really, really stark, dark bits, because it gives more dimension, lights and darks and all of that good stuff. It's a little bit more abstract when you do stuff like this, because obviously this is abstract, but the rules still apply. Gives a little bit of dimension. I don't want to do too much. I think I want another line going through it. Yeah, I want another line. I think I want just like this. I want it to hit the light blue so that we know that it's separate. Otherwise, if I come in from this direction, it might look like it's two. With black or look like it's one. With black and white, it's easier to put one line intersecting another, just because the human eye knows black and white is easy to discern. And sometimes I make sound effects. Sometimes I like to do these dribbling movements. So like dribbling is where you go, let's pull it from the bottom. So I get big and then you pull it back in and then you pop it back out. So go big and then bring it back out. So now these I'm going to have to continue off to the other side here. And that's too much, but I think I can add another line in there and be okay. Just like that. Good. Okay. I was worried that my head was in the picture. I know I don't need to hold this piece because it's taped, but makes it so there's no chance of movement, which is good. And right now I'm not liking this, but I'm going to keep going because I know that if I finish this out, I will like it. Yeah, she brought a very loud toy in here. Yeah? So the crinkling noise that we hear is a mylar ball that she chases around constantly. One of many. Focus. There we go. Constantly. Which is not a bad thing. It's good for her to play, get some of that energy out without me. But she's loud. She's a loud baby. Was I in it? Just a little bit. That's why it was out of focus. Okay. Okay, so now that I have these two colors, this feels more complete. So this is one. So, give you an idea of size. There's one. 4 more to go. I'll put it over here for right now. I'll tape them all up when I'm all done. I have a large stack of these cards, and I make more of them all the time because I like to chop down a 9x11 to an 8x10, and these just so happen to cut down perfectly to 2x3s, which is great. I want this one to be this direction. I think I might choose more color. No, I think I want to do black and white for this one. So I'm just a little anal about this stuff, so I'm going to put these away. We're going to grab Copic multi-liner SP. This is 0.3 millimeter. This is one of my more favorites. I use this one quite often. Another one is going to be the same everything except it's 0.2 millimeter. I use this one I think more than I use any other one of my pens. This is a little bit bigger and I'm able to draw shapes a little bit faster, which is cool. Get that nice and centered. So this one, let's draw it in from the corner and do something funky right here. Yeah, some sprawling something or others. So let's just get this shape first. Bring a few of these in here. And like I said earlier, I like to have these convergence to make these really dark lines. If all of these vector into one, gives dimension when you bring lines off of it. Hi, Kinko. You want to sit in my lap? You can't see him, but there's a cat in my lap now. See? Okay. Can you lie down? We're just going to do this for a little bit? Okay. What a good boy. So I want some sort of dark shape with a little bit of like nerve endings coming off of it, or mycelium. So I think I might need a little bit bigger tip for this part. So I'm going to go over and grab my 0.5. Careful where you step, buddy. Can you lie down? Let's get... Thanks, bud. Yeah, lie down. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me get one leg up so you have something to lean against. Okay, lie down. Lie down. There you go. That's a good boy. Cats. When you have 4 of them, 1, there's cat hair everywhere, and 2, they all want your attention. Let's get a little bit of these lines in here. These are messy, but that's kind of how I want them. Yep. The sound effects help. Yes, they do. This one, I forgot to say. This is a brush. Brush small. That's what BS stands for, not bullshit. So, it's a small brush. There we go. That's easier to see. And, yeah. So it can fill in spaces a lot easier and quicker. So this isn't as dark as I like. I usually grab one of my bigger Copic markers. This is Copic Sketch, so it's got a brush and a chisel side, like that. And so this is going to fill in that space and make it as dark as I can make it without putting paint on top, which I never really do. It adds too much texture. I like everything to be kind of uniform when it comes to that. Although it'd be kind of interesting to experiment with a little bit of paint, give some sort of texture, some 3D nature where it's coming off the page. Let's go to my favorite, point 2. So now I have this convergence, and this is pretty ugly right here. So we're going to try to make this look better by starting with some points like this. Making these smooth like that. Thanks, Ginkgo. Okay, so that has a little bit more depth to it. So now I'm going to draw this out, and I don't think I'm going to have this line work in here. I'm going to just make these like vining off of it. So we're going to switch that around just a little bit so it's easier angle for me to get to. There, that's better. We're going to make some more of these lines. He's got this wonderful face on right now. I wonder if I can get it. There he is. Hey, buddy. Oh, that's really bright. It's just washing you out, isn't it? But anyway, that's him. Had to do it. Had to do it. He's too precious. Yeah. So this is still pretty ugly to me. This doesn't feel complete. It feels really raw, and this doesn't match this. So I'm going to try to make this more fleshed out and so that it'll match this feel up here. Right, buddy? Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's get all the detail in here. I'm still really focusing on line form and weight a lot to try to enhance this. So I'm trying to get more of an idea of how these lines in my head and on paper work. You know, when I first started doing this kind of line work, I never actually thought that it would be this much in depth. It was always just pretty easy. You slap lines on paper and in the end it will look good, which is kind of true, but at the same time not true at all, because there is texture and feeling that you can give with it. Usually I don't try to spend too long on these, but describing and talking about it at the same time adds time, which is good. I won't complain with it. So you see how this having more lines is getting more fleshed out. I don't know how this feels in my head because it feels awfully bulbous, but if you think about some plants, they have bulbs like tulips and stuff. And They all grow from that one converging point. So this is kind of like roots, and this is whatever's growing off of it. Although in my head I see this as pouring it into this, and this is expanding from there. Pretty good. Let's do something with this. Let's go to a finer tip than this beast. We're going to go to a 0.1 millimeter, tenth of a millimeter, ba-boom, which is just super fine. I don't know if you can see that very well. Itty bitty, which is great for fine detail. We're going to add a few hairs in here, and then we're going to build off of this. So a few of these little hairs. I have two smaller tips than this. This is also a method, right, what I'm doing here, because if I just draw a straight line, I wonder if I can, yeah, if I just draw a straight line, just a straight line, point, point, very abrupt, there's no dimension to it, it's just very flat. But if you quick movement with it, and I hate dragging it that way, we'll go the other way, you get, you get a nice point to it. It comes down to a sharp angle, which is what I'm doing here. I hear you. I hear you, baby. I hope everybody else can hear you, because you're awfully cute. I know you need attention. You'll get some in a minute, okay? Ginkgo does not like her, so he is in his sanctuary in my lap. She can't get him here, and he knows it. I'm sorry. I hear you. I hear you. I'm watching her out of my peripheral. She is gonna mess stuff up. I know it. Hi. Hi. Boop. You be careful, baby. Good. Oh. Careful. Don't do that. Be careful. God, you're so naughty. There. And I feel like now that I have this, I can pull this down and just give just the smallest of hints that it's happening. This pattern is happening again right down here. So I'm going to open this up and maybe draw just a couple of these little guys coming up from the bottom. There. Just like that. Just the smallest of hints. Okay. Number 2 of these. Done. This one I don't want black and white. I think I want more color. And I don't want Christmas colors. I always really like the bright red and the bright blue. So let's go bright red, bright blue. Oh. Making sure that's centered. There. Yeah. So I've got boom, boom. I'm going to start with blue. I don't know what I'm doing for this one. I'm just going. You know, I tune out the noise that she makes. But she is awfully loud. And demanding. She tried to lure me in the basement earlier to play. It's like, no baby, I gotta do this. I gotta do my own thing for a little bit. And then she yelled at me and told me I was wrong and that I'm a bad parent and neglecting her. And now she's playing just fine. She will get her attention when I'm done doing this. I'll go downstairs and play with her. Yeah. This is really pleasing in here. This is really getting my goat. Feels really smooth, really careful, nice and planned out, even though it's not. And all of those convergence right here, it gives this like slight wave feel to it, and I really like that. Just so it's really good. This right here is really blocky and unpleasant to my eye, so we're gonna flip it and we're going to pull some of these out here. And now, as you can see, it has much more concise, like it feels good. It's got dimension. Now we're gonna add some red. Check out the butt of this thing. This has got some good color to it. And these two together just has this weird like imperial kind of feel to it. I don't know how else to describe it, but it tickles my brain just right. This is also one of my favorite shades of blue. If you're not careful, these dark spots, and you can see just a little bit in here, hard to see on the screen, I'm sure, but there's a little bit of blending, so some purple is happening in that area. So I'm going to just draw it down and get away from that. There. And that's all it needs to be. This feels complete. So, there's number 3. 2 more. Another one of these bad boys. So this one, let's just do black. I'm going to limit myself to the 0.3 millimeter, and I'm going to, I don't know. Yeah. Get all the way around. This looks like a brain. I don't know how it looks like a brain, but it feels like a brain. Let's try just getting some big bits in there. Yeah. My foot's going to sleep. Ginkgo is a 16-pound boy. He's just a little chunky. So, I gotta switch my feet. Ooh, that's so numb. Ooh, I'm sorry, Ginkgo. Ugh. Okay. How's that, buddy? That good? Okay. It's gonna tingle for a while. Oh. I am actually sitting on my foot kind of to hold his weight with my leg, so it's cross-legged. God. Ugh. After a while I start losing feeling and you don't realize it, and then 15 minutes goes by and your foot's completely numb and you just kind of got to deal with it. He's been doing this thing where he wants to get in my shirt, and at some point I will have him in my shirt while I do this. I have to wear one of my kind of crappy shirts because he stretches it out, and this is not one of my crappy shirts, so I have to like shove him in my shirt, get him all comfy, and then he rubs his face against my belly for a bit, and it's great. We have good time together. Let's go to my favorite one, 0.2 millimeter. This just feels a little too chunky. The pen weight is too strong for what I'm going for. I don't know what I'm going for, but it's just too strong. So I'm gonna tone it down, soften the edges, and give a better pattern on the outside. Yep. So now that I've got this, I want to work on this area, this bulbous part up here. I think I want to just, for one, start smoothing out this point. So let's bring it out like this. Yeah. Am I in the frame? No. Good. Okay. I'm going back to these small hand movements. And I never really liked to do this, but I had to right there, where I draw half a shape, and then that's uncomfortable for me to draw in, so I have to continue on in the other way. Usually when you do that, you have this joint right here where you have dark meets light, because as the pen is putting ink out, it can't keep up, so it gets a little bit softer, a little less saturated. So when I do this, it's getting lighter technically, and that's why these darks are dark, and then the outsides are a little bit lighter. So when you have that joint right there, it is very noticeable pretty quickly. But if you do it right, you can start fast and get into that shape again. So again, there's another technique piece right there. And that's just, after drawing a few million lines, billion lines, I don't know, you just kind of get these tactics. So now I'm doing this dipping thing up here at the top. It's going to look like a butt, and then it's going to look like boobs, and then it's going to look like peaks. And it'll be just fine. Pull this one in. And this is also another thing about line weight. I have these big broad strokes here, and then these finer strokes, and it gives wonderful dimension, so it's not so two-dimensional. It's awkward for me to go in this area right here without flipping the paper. So now I have this, and I want to draw this up just a little more. And pull it in just a scotch. Yeah. Just like that. Okay, this feels good. Complete. Done. 4 out of the 5. Oops, wrong way. Let's do one more color. Do I want to do one more color? Yeah. Let's mix some green in there. Green. Bright green. And some bright blue. Yeah. Like that. And this. Start with green. I can cover that up. Okay, so I want strong one line. Pow. Going this way, just like that. And now, flip it just a little bit. I'm going to pull it off this side and kind of go to this side. So, yeah. That's tingling my brain. Sometimes it just feels good. That serotonin, or dopamine, whatever is hitting my brain, is feeling really good. Ah, yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's nice. I like that. Okay, so I want this to converge on there, so just a little bit more. Oh, there's a hair. When drawing these lines, cat hair can become just a pain in the ass, because when it gets underneath the point of the pen and the pen rolls over the hair, it splatters ink. So it just sprays ink everywhere, and you get these little, and it doesn't look good, and it ruins patterns. But I've learned how to kind of cope, and if that happens, I can cover it up. But it's just a pain in the ass to. I'm constantly blowing on my paper, trying to get all of that shit off of it. So now I want this blue just in this spot. And I think that'll do it. I just want this little bit of color contrast. And these are very cool colors to begin with. That green is pretty emeraldy in color, so it's blue-green. And this is very, very true bluish, kind of ultramarine blue. Yep. Now I just need a little something. Just a little bit. Maybe right here. There. Just like that. And that's it. Let me back this up and we'll look at all 5 of them together. Get a little bit of tape. And there we are. So again, this is for my Patreon. They go up. I give these out each and every month. There's a $5 tier for these. Yeah, so every month I send out 5 of them right now. And I just spend a little bit of time. These are kind of like little practice cards that are nice to just get my brain going and then dive into a bigger project. But it's also a good time to practice and kind of get things just use the old brain, use the hand, kind of train my hand some more. It's all muscle memory. So, there's my 5. I hope you enjoyed. There's the button.